Let's bring in Florida Congressman Cory Mills for the latest on this. Congressman, I know it's a moving target. We're talking about something that we have not nailed down at all yet, but what are your thoughts about the explosion at our northern border?
Well, David, thanks for having me on. I've made a couple of different comments recently through my Twitter. It looked to me as if this was some type of a potential probing attack. It could have also have been, if it is deemed a actual explosive laden or a VBIED that has been utilized, it could have also been a malfunction. You could have had a secondary trigger man. This is something that's commonly used in Iraq, Syria, and other places where if there is a compromised mission, if there is an early detection, there's a secondary remote detonation that can go off. But this could also be utilized as a diversionary on the northern border for what's going on in the south. Look, I've continually said that the Senate needs to take up H.R. 2 Secure the Border Act, and the president needs to sign it into law. One of our greatest vulnerabilities right now is the porous borders, not just from the south, but the north as well. And something to keep in mind really quick, David, is that, Canada under Prime Minister Trudeau, they actually have not designated the Iranian IRGC as an actual terrorist organization. So they kind of are enabled to run rampant when it comes to up in Canada. So I look at this until I get a post-blast analysis or further intel report. I definitely still see this as being something that could be utilized as a potential terrorist attack, as it was earlier reported. I did talk to our leadership. I did urge our Speaker Mike Johnson, through my consultation and counsel with him, to contact the president, urging him to immediately close all land border crossings, both on the north and south. I do understand that this would have an impact to supply chain, trade, and trucking that goes through. But I think that the priority for us as elected officials is to protect the American citizens, and that's my top priority right now.
Congressman, you talk about Canada and Hamas. I would also talk about Canada and Hezbollah. Hezbollah, as I'd mentioned with Paul Morrow just a moment ago, did have an operation here in the United States. It had a cell that was operating. It was busted because they were illegally transporting cigarettes across state lines and then sending the money back to Hezbollah in Lebanon. But in point of fact, a couple of the members that were arrested here and sent to jail, before they had a chance to be arrested, they skedaddled up to Canada, where they were receiving status that made them immune to any sort of exportation for their trials here in the United States. So Canada has been loose not only on Hamas, but also on Hezbollah.
Well, that's correct. And also, we have to think about how involved General Secretary Hassan Nasrallah is when it comes to the Iranian state sponsor of terror and Hamas itself. We know that Hezbollah has been a key element. We know that after the successful counterterrorism operation by President Trump to eliminate Quds Force Commander Qasem Soleimani, that in order to get closer to the Ayatollah, Hassan Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, had his son marry the former Quds Force commander Qasem Soleimani's daughter, thereby allowing him to be a bigger part of the proxy militia running in Iraq and Syria and the other areas. So we know that these terroristic organizations, the China geopolitical alignment, or what I refer to as an axis of evil, has been more emboldened under this weak administration. But regardless of all of that, this is a complete failure by the Biden administration, by Secretary Mayorkas, who I've co-sponsored his impeachment articles. I do see it as your current guest, or your exit guest, just said, is that he should be impeached. But also Lloyd Austin for Afghanistan. I think there's a laundry list of failures that's continued to threaten American lives.
Well, we just had both the head of DHS, both Mayorkas and the FBI director, in speaking before Congress about the border. I found nothing but evidence provided, particularly by Mayorkas, that was contrary to what we can see with our own eyes, that those borders are actually open. If at least
the same thing you see the American people see as well, David.
But you had I have to jump in because you had what was it, 9 Republican congressmen who voted against his being impeached. So that's not going to happen if you have Republicans voting against his impeachment, unless you're trying to put pressure on them and introduce it one more time.
Well, I think that we have to look at other leverage points. Look, as a constitutionalist, under Article 1, we have power of the purse. And I think that while we need to fund responsibly the government and stop this out-of-control spending that's led us to this $34 trillion spending abyss, we have to also look at leverage points where we can put H.R. 2 as a policy rider to ensure that it gets through and force Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell in the Senate to do their job and let Joe Biden threaten to veto it when it comes to its zest, the same way he did in the D.C. crime bill and same that he has done in others. But I agree with you. We need the Republican conference to come together united. We need to be looking at utilizing the Homan Act and impeachments against those who have a dereliction of duty. But our borders, David, is the top priority. We must secure our borders and keep Americans safe. That is what our job is.
Congressman Cory Mills, good to see you, sir. Thank you very much for being here with us.